Perfect.
Hello, everybody, and
Hello.
welcome to another episode of Happy Life with Maria podcast. Today we have Jessica Oistacher, is that
Yes.
correct? The founder of Elavive, which is an amazing company in New York. She will tell you all about it. So let's get started. Welcome, Jessica.
Thank you, Maria. I'm so excited, and I really appreciate you having me. I'm very honored to be here.
Thank you. So why don't we start with your background? Because I think a lot of people would love to know. What is your origin story, whatever you're open to share?
Of course. I was born and raised in Staten Island, and I moved to Manhattan in 2013. And then my professional background is I kind of have a dual career of sales and recruitment and beauty and hairstyling and hair color.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to college at Baruch on 23rd and Lex. And
I know Baruch,
yes.
Very familiar, yes.
And I studied entrepreneurship. And then I simultaneously went to cosmetology school at the Paul Mitchell School in Staten Island.
That's exciting. That's exciting. Wow. At the same time?
Yes, it was a lot, but I've always been very ambitious. I danced as a child, so I had, always classes, and I did gymnastics, and it was always, in and out and running here and there. So
that's amazing.
It's used to keeping busy.
Yes. So you went to school, both schools at the same time. And how did you start progressing? Which direction did you end up taking?
Okay. So I ended up going, after I graduated from beauty school, I started working at the Plaza Hotel at the Warren Jacomi Salon.
Aww.
And I had some incredible training. The best stylists in the world worked there. So it was really an amazing experience. And I was there for a few years. And then once I graduated with my bachelor's, I worked in sales and recruitment.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Two different worlds.
A totally different world.
You go. One is very creative and one is like sales.
Yes.
So which one did you end up
I did both. My passion was always in beauty and hairstyling and hair color. And then I am very type A, and I love to learn. So sales, I knew nothing about. And it was a great opportunity for me to learn and meet new people. That was how I moved to the city. That gave me the knowledge, I think, to, eventually start my company. Because in school, they teach you the foundations of entrepreneurship, but having that real life sales experience, I think, tremendously changed the trajectory of my career.
Yeah, that must have been really interesting, like to have like a hands-on knowledge, and it sounds like you had training there as well.
Yes.
So tell me about like the training. What would you say like the top 3 tips for anybody who is like looking to learn about sales?
So the top 3 tips, I would say the number 1 would be on what they teach you is to understand the need. So you have to be a really good listener. You have to ask a lot of questions and really get to know the person that you're working with so that you can understand, what they want to buy. Because if I try, that in the interview, they give you a pen and they say, sell me this pen.
Oh,
what's your instinct?
This pen is great. It's blue. It works.
So I did the same thing. I was like, this is the best pen. This will make your penmanship phenomenal. And, I try and really make this pen sound magical.
Amazing. Okay.
But the real concept of sales is to understand, why do you need a pen?
Oh.
So before I can sell it to you, I have to understand. Because if you just need a pen to write and you want the cheapest pen because you need 10,000 of them, and I'm trying to sell you a pen that is magical and does all these incredible things, it's really not addressing your need.
Wow. So you have to ask, why are you looking for the pen? Are you looking because you want it to be functional? Are you looking because you want it to look professional?
Right.
Why do you want the pen?
Exactly.
And then you're going to establish it like, why this one is a good fit.
Right.
That's an interesting tip.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I would say that is definitely the first. The second thing that I learned, even I think this was maybe a year into my career, was the goal setting.
Okay.
So setting up goals for yourself, and I'm sure you know how the mind and body connection works.
Yeah.
How important that is, because if you set clear intentions for the path that you want to take, then as long as you put in the work, that the opportunity will present itself.
I love that. Yeah, I think we were talking about before that doing something before you are in that situation, right? Just like practicing being in that situation, practicing what it would be like, and then like we were saying, like the mind doesn't know the difference, so it's gonna feel like this is already happening, and then that becomes, you start believing that it can happen. Exactly. I love that.
Thank you believe much. That was one of the first things that they taught us with the training. You have to believe in yourself. What is it, Henry Ford? He says, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't,
you are right.
Yes.
Oh, they would teach you that. So first you have to know.
That was the first thing that they taught us, and it's really transformational.
So like before you sell something, you believe you can sell it, or that the product can sell? Believe in what? I
think belief in yourself, right? Belief that you can do it. Because when, I was, this was back years ago when I'm just starting my career, and I'm calling one of my biggest clients that I got on board was Tempur-Pedic.
Wow.
And I remember coming to work every day, and I would tell my boss, I'm like, I'm going to get them. Today's the day. And, I'm just starting in sales. That's a massive corporation. And 6 months down the line, I did get them.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing.
But I think that, just having that belief in them, I would say the last thing, just having resilience, not giving up. Because had I, given up at 5 months,
oh, yeah, they said no, so
that door would have never opened.
Wow. So even though they didn't want to work with you in the beginning, you didn't stop at the no.
Right, exactly.
You try to figure out another way to address their needs.
Right.
Like we were talking before about the objections. Talk about the objections.
Handling their objections. If, maybe someone might say they don't have the budget for them, most people will end the conversation there. But you can say, okay, I understand this is not the right time. Tell me what plans you have for the project down the line. And then you find maybe a little bit of information about their project. So, okay, now I know this company is working on XYZ project. And if I happen to speak to a candidate, now I can target that email and say, hey, Maria, I know the last time we spoke, you were working on XYZ. I just spoke to a candidate who finished up a project for another company. Now I'm giving you something of value.
Wow, I love that. Yeah, because you're right. If I would hear somebody say that it's not in the budget, that's it.
Right.
I would not think of, well, tell me the story of, what the plan is, and maybe next quarter they'll have, or maybe there's like a different opportunity that they might be looking for.
Right.
That's so interesting. I love that. Yeah, thanks for sharing, because I feel like a lot of people do get stuck on the objection level. That's where a lot of people stop.
I did for a long time. I think I was just so resilient that I would keep trying different ways, but really understanding the concept of finding out what's important to the client and listening is really key.
I love that. So what were some of the other interesting clients you got when you were working there?
We had a lot. We worked with clients across the country. So that was also something very interesting to just learn about different markets. I worked with a lot of manufacturing clients, and I knew nothing about the industry. So that was an opportunity for me to learn a little bit more about, the programs and the software. I knew my family has always been really into technology, but personally, I'd say my knowledge was pretty limited. So, being able to really learn the ins and outs of these, large implementations and how they affect the business. And it was very, very interesting.
Nice. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, it sounds like it was a very good training ground. Because down the line in the future, now we're going to get into that a little bit. You are starting to build your own business now. And I feel like that skill of understanding what the customer wants, I think comes in handy now.
Totally.
Talk to me about what you're currently trying to build and different ventures you have going on now and how those skills might translate.
So right now I am building Elavive. We are a corporate wellness consultancy.
So exciting.
And we work with businesses. Right now we're in New York City and we're working with businesses to design their wellness program. So most clients will either do monthly programming or quarterly programming, and we'll help them to design something that's unique to their business. Because right now, budgets are tight, the economy is a little uncertain, and people are taking on more work, right? There's less staff, more work. So really making sure that your employees are taking care of themselves and making that a priority is so important.
I love that. And I love the little story you shared about how the idea came about. Tell me about how your idea came about.
So when I was working in the office.
In recruiting?
In recruitment, I started cutting some of my colleagues' hair. And, someone else would say, oh, can you cut my hair too? And I was like, oh, this is kind of building a little business here. And that was
in the office?
In the office. So I would set up, put something on the floor and just give them a cape and cut their hair right there.
Oh, I don't think I've ever heard somebody cutting hair in the office.
So yeah, it's funny. It's I was like, oh, seems like there's a real need for this.
They were excited about it?
Oh yeah. And I was myself in the office at 7 a.m. I didn't leave until 7 or 8 p.m. In sales, you're really working kind of around the clock. So some people had just recently moved to New York City and they weren't really sure where to go. And, it takes you an hour to get somewhere, to get a haircut, an hour to come back. So you save the time there.
Oh, right. So instead of them having to take 2 hours and go specifically to a salon, you brought it to them in their busy schedule. Exactly. And that's how the idea started?
That's how the idea started. And then I'm like, why not just incorporate all of wellness? And personally, yoga has, I think, just brought so much calm and clarity into my life.
Oh, you practice yoga?
I do. I practice yoga, and pretty consistently over the past 5 years. And what I do is first thing when I wake up in the morning, I'll go to my mat. And even if it's a single downward dog, it really sets the tone of intention for my day. Sometimes, and I hear this so often, that people are just running through a routine and they don't intentionally schedule their day, right? They just kind of go with emotions. We get constant notifications, alerts, emails, messages, coming our way.
Yeah, it gets real busy real fast.
So, it's important to put yourself first.
From the beginning of the day.
From the beginning of the day, and set the intention of how you want that day to go. Otherwise, you're just taking whatever comes at you.
Yeah, I believe that too. I am very much into that. The same thing. If I start the day, I must take 10 minutes to myself, whether it's the downward dog, I will do some yoga also, or I just do some dancing. Yeah.
Your studio is amazing.
Thank you. Yeah.
What a dream.
I was showing her my studio. Yeah. So sometimes it depends what I feel like in the morning, whether I want to do some downward dog or I do the sun salutation one.
Flow, yeah.
The little flow. Because it's so simple. You don't have to think about it. It's like the repetitive cycle. You just know one after the other and you're just done,
Yes.
So sometimes I would do that, or if I feel like I want to uplift the mood, I'll put on music and I'll do some dancing for 10 minutes. Yeah, that's my little routine in the morning. And then meditation. I close the physical activity with the meditation because then I can set the intention, like you said. Then I can set the intention. I kind of go through a little gratitude first, right? Thank you for the new day. I try to start with something positive because it's very important, like you say, how you start the day.
Yes.
and taking the time to like set the tone for the day,
Absolutely.
it's game changer. So for me, I definitely see a big difference on the days that I do practice versus the days that I like just run out of the house. I already know I have so many deadlines. I'm like out the door,
Right.
and then the whole day is chaotic. So
exactly.
it is very, very important. I agree with that.
Yeah, I love that you also practice yoga and dance.
I try, yeah.
They're really, it's not only just doing something for yourself, but how many hours can you're an accountant, you're fractional CFO.
Yes.
How many hours can you actually be productive in a day doing, straight accounting? Maybe there's 4 hours that you're really, really productive if you look at the whole day, right? But having those breaks in between, I think, give you a reset to get 8 hours worth of work in 4 hours, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So back to the idea that you were sharing. So it sounds like when people are in the office, they have the opportunity with your services, different kind of variations that you provide, that they can have that, I guess, moment of physical activity or some sort of a mental reset or a meditation, and it sounds like it would actually amplify their productivity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that is the whole goal. The goal is to get the team into a state of flow. I'm sure you've had days like this where everything just seems to click, and a project that you've been working on for 10 months, all of a sudden in one day, it's like, oh, it all comes together, right? So it's those moments that I'm like, wow, this is really incredible. And I did a lot of research and study on, how do you intentionally create that state of flow? Because I would have days like that, but I have no idea how it happened. So the whole concept is to increase performance and also take care of your people and the well-being.
Yeah, I would say, like, based on my own experience, yes, thank you for sharing that. It is absolutely true that when you take the time to nurture your mental, physical state, that is a game changer, even for work. Like, you work better, your mind is clearer, you are more energized. It is very correlated. Like, even though it sounds like it's not related to work, but I would say it's very much related to work, because if you take like a half an hour to do some yoga, some stretching, or whatever it is, your energy shifts.
Exactly. You're more energized and you're more productive. And there are so many studies on the benefits, what the ROI is for companies that do implement these programs. And at first, I wasn't entirely aware that there are a lot of companies already doing this, and that companies have the budget. So this is a growing market. I'm so excited for the opportunity that we get to, meet new businesses and do something that is really making an impact, not only on the company, but on the people as well.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, because I'm very intrigued by the concept, because even if it's existed before, I think for somebody with your background to bring it is beautiful, because you have the cosmetology background. You can do the hair, like you have the yoga, like you have an understanding of these services yourself.
Right.
It helped you in your own life. And so you can better, and you have the recruiting background also. That's perfect, because you can talk to the person and find out what their needs are. Talk to me how that background is helping you right now.
It's, I think, giving me just the confidence that, okay, I know I can do this because I've done it before. And where I used to be very shy as a kid.
No,
I was very young. I was more outgoing. My mom says I would go up and talk to everybody. But as I'd say in high school, I feel like I became very shy. And I would sit in the back of the class and observe more than I spoke. And I would never, when we went to dinner and Nora said I was so extroverted.
Yeah, you took charge. We all went to dinner together. A little backstory. That's how we met. We had like a little networking situation in New York City, which was amazing to meet you. And you took charge in that meeting.
I know. I was like, okay, we're going to order
this. This is what we're getting, so we're ordering. Perfect. We loved your energy.
Yeah. And, I have that experience also managing teams, which was helpful because that is, I think, a skill that you learn. And initially I was terrible. I thought I would be I studied management in school. I read constantly, I'd try and read a book a month on managing people. And it really is a skill that you learn. The first team I managed was, I didn't think I would get through it because, you have to learn to work with different cultures and different individuals that, learn their style of work. What works for me might not necessarily work for them. And so, I think all of these experiences that I've had led me to building Elavive. Everyone always asks if I would open up a hair salon because that's the logical
natural progression,
right? I went to beauty school. I went to college for entrepreneurship. Okay, are you going to open a salon? Everyone asks me that.
And what's your answer?
And I just wasn't as passionate about it. I think because it's, you're really limited in how many, right? My salon, has 7 chairs, maybe I can have, a certain impact. But I think I also wanted to do something a little bit bigger and really
more impactful.
Just have more of an impact on
I love that.
Everyone. I think that, hair styling's great. It's the instant gratification of like, somebody looks in the mirror and they're like, wow, I love it. That's the best feeling. But having this small change and seeing, okay, the hair, you get a haircut, maybe that changes your mindset for the day. You feel good, but this is really creating more of a practice and a lasting impact. So that's what I'm most excited about.
I love that. Yes, thank you for sharing. And I do believe that, like we spoke about before, your skill set kind of also translates really well together. And you can use the recruiting background, like understanding the people, and the creative background, and the managing of the teams. Yeah, that's a whole different skill.
Yeah,
the managing of the team, I feel like, involves like understanding their personality, like how they work. Like,
right?
Are they a type A? Are they a follower? Like, is that what you would say?
Exactly. So, some people might be. I'm a morning person. First thing in the morning, I'm like up early, have my routine. I'm ready to go. When I sit at my desk, I'm like, it's go time. And some people, they want to come into the office, have their coffee, and
start at 10.
And I had one person on my team late every single day, and to the point where I just said, okay, this is her. She is not a morning person, but when she had the time that she was there, she would get work done. It would take like 3 people to do the same amount of work. She was so productive in like her own time. So I had to learn how to kind of understand her and, work with that. And, even yoga, right? It's not for everyone, but we also offer stretching. So how many people sit at their desk and just need to do some stretches just to, open up your chest? And, if you call it yoga, it could be a little intimidating. So we say stretching, and
I like that.
We do offer assisted stretching as well. Have you ever tried assisted stretching?
I would not like that. What is that?
Okay, so I was a little skeptical at first.
What is that?
Okay, have you ever had a massage?
Rarely.
You don't like touching? Okay.
No. I mean, once in a while I get like a really nice, I like if they are very like calm about it, not too aggressive about it. Yeah.
Okay. So assisted stretching, you would probably love it. The team that we work with, so I was a little skeptical at first, and I'm like, let me try it. They really know the ins and outs of all the fascia in your body and how it's connected.
That's
so I went for only a 30-minute session, and I said, I have some tension in my lower back.
Yeah, a lot of people have tension in the lower back. You have a herniated disc?
I do. Oh. My L4, L5. I did it years ago, and the yoga and Pilates, strengthening your core is the best thing. But I'm like, occasionally it'll be a little stiff. I'm like, let me try it. And I went for a 30-minute session, and I came out, and you feel like you just had a massage. You feel like you're light, and
everything is aligned.
Everything was aligned. I felt so centered. Like I had a cup of coffee and massage all in one.
That's interesting. Yeah, it sounds like they really get to like the root of the fascia. It sounds like, because you personally, maybe you cannot get to with the specific move, but if somebody is assisting you with it, they can get like a more deeper stretch.
Exactly. Oh. Yes, and it is very calming. It's not, there are some places I've seen that it looks like a little too intense. But the team that we work with, they're really phenomenal. And it's definitely an incredible experience. I recommend that everyone try it.
Yeah, it doesn't sound too bad. It sounds actually interesting, because sometimes, if I try to stretch like on the yoga mat, sometimes, like I also have like the lower back issue sometimes. If I cannot get to it, it might actually be beneficial if there's like an assisted. That's possible. That's interesting. That's interesting. I like that. I like that. Thank you so much. Okay. What would you say are like the top 3 skills? You would say like if somebody is like thinking of starting their own kind of entrepreneurial journey, what would you say like top 3 skills they should kind of master? Should it be sales? Should it be, what should they?
I would say sales is important for everyone to master. There's so many skills. You can be the best in the world at what you do, but if you don't understand marketing and sales, then how are you going to let the world know?
That's so true. Yeah, I think that should be a number 1 skill.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely number 1. And then I think just going out and maybe, networking. Like I know that's been really successful for you.
Yeah, making connections.
Just making connections and letting people know what you're doing. It's funny, I was surprised when we met that you didn't talk about your inner child work, because that was so interesting.
Oh yeah, I did it. Like, so I also do inner child healing. I actually got certified in it, and like, I'm very passionate about it. But I didn't even bring it up. That's interesting, because I think who would be interested and who would know about it? That's my little blog, I guess, with it. Like, let's talk about that.
Yeah, definitely.
Wait, so walk me through. So let's say if I wanna tell people about it, what would you suggest? Would you ask me something about it to learn more about it?
Would I, if I was
like, let's say if I'm going to a setting, let's say it's like a little meetup, and I am shy about bringing it up, but I am passionate about it, right? How would I test the waters and see if this is something they're interested in?
So you can just ask, have you heard of inner child healing?
Oh, that sounds so simple. I wouldn't even think of that. Have you heard of inner child healing? That's pretty simple.
Yeah, if they have, great. Then I'm sure there are some things that you can connect on. Like personally, I have not heard of that specific practice.
Modality, yes.
But once I looked at your website, I am familiar with a lot of, I guess, the same kind of system.
There's a lot of similar
body connection, and there's definitely a lot of overlapping similarities. And for someone who's completely, so when I introduce Elavive, I'll tell someone I have a corporate wellness consultancy.
Okay.
And they'll either look at me like, what is that? Or they're like, oh, like that's like really interesting. And I kind of gauge in person. It's easier to gauge. Like you can tell if someone's like,
oh, I like that,
understands or not. And then, but also asking them, does your company offer any wellness services? And then I'll break it down. We provide yoga, mindfulness, stretching, beauty services. So some companies will even go in and offer 15-minute touch-up hair and makeup for photo shoots. So some companies will offer, the company headshots once a quarter, and we'll do that as well. So for inner child healing, I'm sure there's, you can break it down maybe into 3 parts, or something that's easy to explain for someone who's never heard of it.
I'm going to practice right now. I'm going to explain to you right now. And let's workshop this. I love it. I'm going to workshop it right now. I think you're the perfect person. I literally never talk about it.
I was like, I thought I was going crazy. I'm like, I look on your website and I'm like, okay, I swear Maria said she did finance and accounting.
Why is there even Charlie?
I'm like, maybe I misheard.
Okay, so here we go. So let's say you ask me, what do I do? And I ask you, have you heard of inner child healing? And you say no.
So, no, what is it?
Never heard of it. Okay, so I would say, well, I feel like the best way to explain it is for sharing how it affected me.
Yes.
Like I would talk about
your story was fascinating.
Oh, thank you. Definitely. Okay. So this is what I would say. I would say, I started inner child healing because of my own life experience, because of my own challenges. Because when I was in my 20s, like early on, I started to have a lot of physical issues, and all the doctors I would go to would just say, oh, it is what it is. You're kind of stuck with that. Here's like a pill, that's as much of a solution they would give me. And my mind was, like you said, believe, right? I believed that there is another way. I just believed there's a different solution, because I just, in my mind, was like, it doesn't make sense. Somebody in their 20s can't move, can't do this, there's no way that that's reality. So my mindset was, I'm going to find a different alternative.
Right.
And so I started going to yoga retreats. I started going to all these like alternative situations that happened also by accident. My coworker in accounting one day came back from a ashram, like a yoga ashram. And she looked like glowing. And I'm like, where'd you come from? And she said, there's like an ashram, like a yoga retreat upstate. So I went there. Right. And I loved that they would teach us the mind-body connection. They would teach us how your thoughts, your stress level affects the physical. And I would notice whenever I would be upstate in the yoga retreats for the 5 days I was there, I would have no symptoms. I had no pain.
That's unbelievable.
No issues. Thank you. And then I go back to New York and everything is back again. And I'm like, what's going on? So then I was like, let me go there again. And then we do the yoga, we do the meditation, the food they give you. It's all like, the garden that they have. Right. And then it's very serene. You have no stress.
That sounds amazing.
So I started paying attention. I was like, why is it that when I go there, I'm like healed?
Right.
I come back to New York and it's all over again. So I started asking them questions. They would have these like lectures during the day where they would explain the concepts of the yoga philosophy. They have like classes about it, not just the physical movement, but there's like a whole philosophy about it. And one day they had a visiting teacher who was about inner child healing. And he did it for us, and it helped me a lot. Like it helped release a lot of things that happened, I guess, early on, which I didn't even know. We kind of block it off. Right. We're like subconsciously don't even remember a lot of these things.
Yes.
And it helped really reset and release a lot of things for me. And I asked, like, do you teach that? And I learned the certification about it. They had like a whole week seminar about it. Yeah, we all learned, we all practiced on each other and everything. Wow. And I started doing it for myself, just for me, because the traveling teacher was already gone. He wasn't available. So I learned it for myself, really. Is why I learned that. Just for me. And then I was like, within a year, I think the whole physical issues were gone just because I did the inner child healing. I did less stress. I left that job. I switched to a different job. The situation, like the setup I was in was different. And just consciously paying attention to your thoughts, your feelings, and everything was game changer. So I would say, to make a long story short, it was a game changer for me because it taught me the mind-body connection, and it healed a lot of my physical issues by addressing the emotional and going back to the childhood. So I am very passionate about that just because of how it impacted my life. So I would say it's a meditation-based technique. It is very easy. Anybody can connect to it. And I would just kind of like guide the person visually to, it's like a meditation type of healing modality. And it's very effective, I would say, because compared to sometimes people go to like therapy and they talk about something, and you know, it might be okay for some people, but for some people it may not be as effective. And this one, we get to the root of the issue. Like a lot of times it starts with a specific event that happened, and that's how we would address it. And when we can go to that specific event and understand the reason for it, or
identify what
and then understanding why, because a lot of things happen in our life for a reason.
We're here to learn.
So even though it may seem like, you know, this is something that is bad, or, you know, doesn't look positive, there is something to learn in that situation. And when you learn what the issue is teaching you, that's when you can let it go. That's when you can forgive and do the healing. The healing kind of includes the forgiveness aspect, but only way that happens is if you understand what the situation was teaching
root
you.
Of it.
So that's basically what
that's so interesting. I think it. Oh, I love it. So are you familiar with Joe Dispenza? Okay, so my mom had studied spirituality, and I forget, there's a ton of institutions that for the past 10 years have totally changed her life. She practices Reiki, and she had me join her for the first course, the introductory course. And I was like, oh, this seems a little foo-foo, but I'll try it. And, you know, we both took the course, and it was in someone's house in like the basement with like a binder like this that looks like it was like made at Staples. And I was like, I don't know about this. And so she continued to practice. She did the second level.
Amazing.
And one day I was driving to the city to drop her off at a conference, and I had a sore throat for 3 days. And she's like, let me just do some Reiki on you. I'm like, okay, Mom, like, oh, go ahead. So she does it, instantly disappeared. And I didn't even believe that it was going to work. So the fact that
it worked, if you didn't believe it,
I was like, okay, there's something to this. So
did you get the Reiki training for yourself?
I did the first.
Wow, you did Reiki 1?
Yeah, I did Reiki 1.
Nice.
And yeah, it was very interesting. I guess my mom loves it. I mean, you can literally feel the heat and the energy.
It flows.
It's like incredible. It's definitely a very, very interesting practice.
Yeah, I'd sometimes infuse it because I also have like the Reiki certification for Reiki 1 and like Reiki 2. But that was like 10 years ago. I use it just like for my own purposes, not professionally. But I would infuse that, sometimes if I do the session, because it helps. Like, it's like you're more relaxed. I definitely love Reiki. I love it. It's like a very cool, positive practice that I feel like anybody can pick up if they're interested.
Yeah. So see, you just have to put it out there, I think. And
so that was good.
That was great. Are you kidding? So whether I knew what it was or not, I think the way you explained it was fantastic.
Sharing the story of
how it helped you. I mean, that's like, what's better than that? I mean, that's incredible.
People can connect to.
Yeah, I mean, I even had gone to, I think therapy is fantastic, and it certainly has a place and a time. But there were some therapists that I'd work with. I think it was a psychiatrist I saw once, and it was like a 5-minute conversation. He's like, okay, we're going to write you all of these scripts. And I left and I tore it up. And
see, that's not a solution. That's like a Band-Aid over the issue.
But it's interesting how many people would rather put a Band-Aid on it than go and look through the.
I do see that happen a lot. It is, I think maybe it's like the pace of the New York City thing, where people are so fast go, go, go. I have to achieve this goal, that goal. I have no time. Give me a pill, I'm out.
Right.
But I think
it seems like a quick fix.
Yeah, but I think people don't realize the biggest asset we have is our health.
Yes.
Health is the wealth. So
That's
even if you go out there and you build your $1 million company like Steve Jobs, without the health, where is Steve Jobs, right?
That's right. You have to take care of yourself first. And in that, you can even increase your productivity and your performance. So if you can get to a point where you can have both, then why not?
Yeah, no, that's why I was very passionate to have you on my show, because I love the concept of what you're creating, and I definitely believe that it is very positive impact it can have, and it kind of introduces people easier into that space without them having to have like a big yoga practice or a big spiritual practice. You know, you get like a little taster of it in their office. They don't have to go anywhere.
Exactly.
And then maybe they'll want to explore more. Maybe you're like planting a seed. Like I have a quote, like I have quotes everywhere. Yes. I have a quote on that wall. It says, you may not, be able to influence somebody's, thought process, but never underestimate the power of planting a seed.
Yes.
So that sounds like what you're doing, introducing them little by little to these different things they can do. And then something might spark an interest. It'll be like, oh, I feel so different from, being in a desk 24/7. And now I moved.
Exactly. Even if it's just standing up and doing some squats in between your day, or noticing your posture. I'm sure from dancing, they always say, pretend you have a string on the top of your head, and having good posture is so important if you're working at a desk all day. And you have to find what works for you. That's the most important thing.
I like that.
So we do kind of a reset bar, and we'll do wellness consultation. So we'll work one-on-one with some companies, with their employees, and find out, what is your lifestyle like? What can you incorporate? Let's take 5 minutes. Would meditation work for you? Would yoga work for you? Maybe it's just a workout, a walk. Maybe I'm so busy, I have no time. Okay, so are there any calls during the day that you can schedule? Maybe schedule a time in your calendar. I'm going to go for a walk on this call. So just get your body up and moving. And we're so sedentary, working in the 9 to 5.
Absolutely. I think somebody mentioned that sitting is the new smoking. How much it really affects even the posture. Like I always kind of struggle with. I have to remind myself to, because I'll have like a neck pain.
Pretend you have a string.
We have the string,
and you
just
feel like that's pulling you up.
I love it. Yeah, it's a game changer, because I'll have like neck pain if I'm like this. I'll have and then if I remember to sit straight, there is no pain. It really affects a lot. Like the posture is a huge game changer if people can have a practice where they have some sort of a stretch practice every day, because we sit every day. So it sounds like the practice would have to be also every day if people can make it happen, because it does make a huge difference. I was at like a gym class somewhere outdoors, and somebody introduced the stretch class to me, and they explained the importance of posture. They said there's a lot of organs, there's lungs, there's this, and it all gets compressed when your posture is closed off, the heart, everything. It affects not just the posture, it affects the organs too.
Right.
And I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. I was I know. Sometimes somebody says one thing and it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
I was so now I'm trying to prioritize it, because it's definitely
it's
important factor. Yeah, so for definitely thank you for sharing. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the future plans. What are some of the where do you see your projects expanding? Or
so thank you for asking. I'm so excited. I think we have a location for our official launch party.
Oh, that's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, it's going to do a launch party.
We are on the 27th of September
in New York.
And it will be an invite-only event for if you're a manager, if you're in HR, if you have a sales team, or your own company and you want to incorporate wellness, we're going to set up stations so you can get a little taste of all of our experiences, and you'll get a little passport, and you'll get a stamp for each
a passport. Wait, tell me more. What does that mean? Like you'll get like a little.
Yeah, you'll get like a little passport, and then for if you do a little meditation, you'll get a stamp. If you do some stretching,
that's very interactive. I love the idea. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's what with all of our experiences, we try to. They're all luxury curated experiences, and working at Warren Comey, I think, gave me that insight into what are the small touch points that you can do in just, okay, what differentiates a $25 haircut to a $400, a $500 haircut? It's the same haircut, right?
Yeah.
But what are the little
like details? It's the experience that they get, right? They'll get like a little water. They'll get like...
It's not really the same haircut, but
but it is a different.
Maybe there are 100. It could be maybe $100 to a $400 level, right? The same salon, you can get a $100 haircut or a $400 haircut, but what are the small details of that experience that add value that someone would want to experience?
Wow. Yeah. I love that. That's exciting. That's exciting. I think it's going to be great. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. So, I'm excited. I want to really build out New York City. That is, my plan for right now. And then I want to expand to other cities. There is definitely a tremendous advantage with the technology that we have available to just meet people. When Nora, she sent me an email. It was like 3 a.m, and then I looked her up, and she's in Germany.
Yeah,
it was very interesting how we were, connected,
opposite sides of the world,
right?
And we connected.
Exactly. So we definitely, now I'm learning what's working and what's not working as far as building the team, and I think that recruitment experience is helping me there, and then modeling out how do we want to expand in other cities.
Oh, I love that. Absolutely love it. Thank you for sharing.
Of course.
And also, before we go, we do play this little game with my guests. Usually it's called Question Everything. My listeners should know by now. It's a game from one of my favorite podcast hosts, journalists, whatever you call it. She created these cards.
Okay.
And just for fun, I love to have different random questions that are like a conversation starter.
Wonderful.
Do you want to pick one?
Okay. Let's do it.
Just pick one.
Let's see.
All right. So what lesson has taken you the longest to learn?
Oh, that's a good one. That's for me or
you?
Okay?
Oh, what lesson? We can both answer.
Has taken me the longest?
Yes, you first, and then I'll answer.
I think to trust the universe. When I listen to your podcast on letting go, because I am very type A, and I do believe there needs to be a balance of you have to have that intention, but then also give some space to trust the universe and trust that it's going to happen. Because I want things to happen immediately. Being from New York, I'm like, okay, I need this now. So yeah, I would say patience has taken me the longest.
Yes, thank you for listening to that episode. Yeah, I did this episode. Well, it's about trusting the universe and taking different steps, because you can do as much as you can do, but at the same time, you're not really as much in control as you think you are. There is a higher universal force at play.
Exactly.
So even if you do everything perfectly, like we were talking before, if it's meant to be yours, it will be yours. If it's not for you, it's not for you. And learning to take the hands off the wheel a little bit, let go of control. A lot of people have that issue, being in control, myself, of course, as well. We tend to want to control every little thing. We are, we know we want to get from A to B, and this is what we're taking the steps, and that's it. Well, a lot of the times, that's not how life flows. You have this whole plan in your mind,
right?
And then life has a different plan.
Yes, totally.
So I love that. That's a perfect lesson. For me, what lesson has taken me the longest to learn? I think I shared in another podcast. It would be to listen to my own inner guidance, to listen to my own intuition, because a lot of times when I was younger, everybody else was making decisions for me. Everybody else would say, Maria, you should do this. And I was like, oh, okay. You should, oh, okay. So it was not really something I developed, I guess, strongly enough to know that, wait a minute, I can listen to my own gut feeling and decide what's right for me, not what everybody around me is saying is right for me, because they're not me.
Totally. I think you need to take that, especially with the inner child healing. I know the story of Joe Dispenza, but there's always a little bit of skeptical, like, okay, did it really happen? Like, you're the first person I've met who has had recovery from a physical illness, just with the thoughts in your mind. So
that's amazing. It's funny because I actually was interviewed by somebody that was like a corporate person looking for somebody who actually had like a healing happen without the medical kind of thing. And they asked, like, it was like a group chat somewhere, maybe like on Facebook. I'm not there anymore, but I used to be. And they asked, has anybody had an experience where they, were able to heal something without anything medical, and would you be open to share your experience? And they paid me to go and speak about,
I believe that, yeah,
how I was able to achieve what sounds the impossible with just meditation, reducing stress, addressing the past inner child healing work. And they were all like paying attention, like they were like,
I mean, it's really like when you first told me the story, I was like, wow, that's really amazing.
Thank you so much. All right. Next question. Okay, now I'm gonna pick, but we both have to answer.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see this one. Who do people say you remind them of? I'll go first. Who do people say I remind them of? I don't have anybody that I'm reminded of.
No. Come on, there must be somebody.
Somebody that I remind people of. I mean, generally speaking, not like physically, but I am very much like my grandmother, my mom's mom. She kind of raised us because my mom was working a lot. So we spent a lot of time with my grandmother.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of her qualities rubbed off on me. Like, she was very much into cooking, and I love cooking. Like, she was very wise, and I'm like very like, I pay attention to things, like very like a lot of wisdom to share. Like, I feel like a lot of qualities of hers kind of rubbed off on me.
Okay.
So I would say, one of the biggest influences is from my mom's mom, my grandmother. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I love that. What was
we grew up together. So she was like my first 7 years of our lives. We all lived together back in my country, and she would be responsible to raise me and my brother while our parents were at work. So during the day we would spend with her. Like, I didn't start kindergarten until like 3 years old. So most of my first 3 years was just me and my grandma. So that was a really like strong foundation, I feel like, for who you are, because you're more calmer, because you have like this strong presence with you all the time. Like, it was like a lot of like, maybe like by osmosis kind of rubbed off on me. And she was like very wise, like super wise. Like, everybody in the neighborhood would come to her for advice, because obviously a lot of people in that time had a very difficult life themselves, so they learned a lot because of their situations that they had to overcome. So by the age she was like in her 70s, I think, she already learned a lot of wisdom of life. And so it was really interesting for me, who is like a very curious person who loves to learn. I would always ask her questions, and I would always like learn. But one of the main qualities I think also she had was cooking was her love language. Like, she would cook 4 different things, one for me, one for my brother, one for her, one for everybody got their own little meal. Because she loved to cook.
That's amazing.
So that was like really interesting, and I feel like it rubbed off on me. Like, when I cook, all my 4 stovetops are on. Like, I'm cooking like 5 different things at the same time.
For just like 2 people, you're like, okay, we're gonna have 10.
I'm cooking everything at once. And I feel like it just kind of like rubbed off on me. So I would say, there you go. I would say it's my grandma. How about you?
Who do people say you remind them of? So I, since college, I've always gotten Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely. That's so true.
So in college, I'm sitting in class one day, and like this girl comes, she's like, you look like Hannah Montana. And I'm like, who is Hannah Montana? I've never even heard. So that was when she played in a Disney show.
Yes.
And I've even had people stop me in the street and like, can I take a picture?
Not like her. I'm like seeing it now that you said it. That's absolutely true. I love that. I love it. Okay, should we do one more and then
let's do it.
Okay, now you pick.
Okay.
Just shuffle.
All right. Can't take the top one. That's too easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which personality trait has gotten you in the most trouble?
Trouble? I was going to change that question like more advanced in life. I don't know about trouble. I don't usually get in trouble.
Oh, come on. You must get in some trouble.
I
would say what's gotten me in the most trouble has also been what's gotten me to the most, I guess, successful experiences in my life. Has been the same trait, I think.
What is it?
I think just being determined to go after what I want. And, sometimes I make my own rules.
Sometimes.
Actually, one of the first business books that I read was called like break all the rules or something. Break all the rules.
First break all the rules. I like that.
And I feel like that trait has gotten me a lot of wins and sometimes in trouble, but
wow, that's a good one. I love that. Ooh, now I have to think. I'm like such a goody. Like I literally get scared to breaking rules usually. Must have been something.
Yeah, come on. I mean,
most trouble. I mean, the only thing I can think of is before I got into this whole healing journey, I had trouble speaking up for myself. So that would get me in a lot of trouble because I would never say what I want. I would never say what I need. And the same kind of thing. Yeah, I would be like miserable a lot of times because I didn't speak up. And now, like I'm stuck in a situation I don't want to be in. A lot of times that would happen. So I had to learn the hard way. Wait a minute, you have to actually say what your expectations are. Say what you want, what you don't want. That was like a big lesson to learn, that you have to take the time, even if it feels uncomfortable, to say what you want, because it only gets worse if you don't. It does not get better. So now I feel like I have gotten really good at that, much more comfortable with it because there's less fear about it.
Right.
Because it was such a long journey to get there.
Yeah.
Now I'm more like, it's not that bad. It's okay. Like it's not that bad. You can speak up and nothing crazy happens. Like
right, exactly. Right. We're not out here like doing anything so crazy. Maybe we're like, one time I jumped on stage at a concert. Nobody got hurt.
Oh, wow, I like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, security chased us off, and
wow, but it was a fun experience.
Yeah, I think I had a friend who encouraged me to be a little more of a risk taker, I guess you could say. And we would do these like funny things, and she's like, let's go backstage. So like I would just, and if you say something, going back to what we were saying about believing that you can do it, and I would just tell people like, no, it's okay, like I'm supposed to be here, and like you're like, oh, okay, like like we went to one side of the where they had the security, and the guy was like not having it, so I'm like, okay, I went over to the other side. And I was like, no, it's okay. Like we're, part of the team. I don't know what I said. And
you were calm about it.
I was calm about it, and they let us walk right in the back.
That works. That absolutely works. I did that one time also.
Oh yeah.
I remember that. There was one time I was like obsessed with some singer from like an X Factor, one of those shows, and he was visiting New York City, and he had a show.
Right.
And I wanted to go backstage, and we had passes that were very similar looking to the backstage passes. So I just like reversed it to the other side, and I just calmly walked backstage. I was like, I got the pass, I'm good.
There you go.
And they just let me.
Miss Good Girl. Breaking some rules yourself.
I didn't even ask nothing. Just walked right in. That works. Believing it works.
That's it. Believe in yourself. Believe you can do it.
Yes.
And you can achieve anything you like.
Yes, I think that's a very cool message. Yes, I was going to say the last question I usually ask my guests is what would be your one message if you had a message to share to the world?
One message that I would share is to every experience, have an open mind. I think having an open mind is the most important thing that you can do. If maybe you might hear wellness and say, oh, well, meditation, I can't do that. If that's the first thing that you do, then automatically you're shutting down any opportunity that it would bring you, any benefit. So just by trying and having an open mind, I think that will open a lot of doors for everyone.
Wow, I love that. Thank you for sharing. So we're going to end the episode. Before we end, where can people find you? Do you have like an Instagram or a website or?
Yes, so we have a website, elavive.com. You can email me, contact me directly. Also, our Instagram is Elavive US. So at Elavive US.
Follow Elavive US.
Give us a follow. And if you'd like us to come into your office and create a wellness program for you, just contact me and we'll make it happen.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I just want to acknowledge the guest. I usually like to acknowledge the guest before we end. So I want to acknowledge you for, the idea, the intention that you have for doing something that's impactful in the world, that is positive, that is uplifting, that is, game changing to some people even. And so I definitely want to acknowledge you for that. And in general, I want to say you have a very warm and welcoming personality. I feel like that's a very big plus, and not a lot of people have that kind of little trait. So I feel not that little actually, kind of big one. So I definitely want to say that it's a pleasure to meet somebody like you. It kind of reminds me there is good people in the world. There is people that are caring and actually genuine and not just fake about their intention. So I definitely want to acknowledge you.
Yes, I appreciate it, and thank you for having me on. I had also a lot of people in my life. I was very blessed to have people who took a chance on me. So I always try and do that with other people as well. So I try and be as welcoming as I can.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Talk later.
Bye-bye.